Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating exploration. What if countries, much like individuals, actually possess distinct personalities?
Right, like a national psyche almost.
Exactly. And what if these deep-seated societal psychologies, forged over generations by history, what if they dictate a nation's capacity not just to survive, but to truly adapt, innovate, and, thrive?
Well, our insights for this deep dive come from a unique source, Dr. Ahmed Shalaby. He's an Egyptian heart surgeon who made this extraordinary transition into being a system analyst.
A heart surgeon to system analyst, that's quite a shift.
It really is, and his profound observations are detailed in his book, Breathe the Truth. He uses Finland as his main case study to unveil what he calls the obvious never noticed.
The obvious never noticed. I like that. So our mission today is pretty clear then. We're going to unpack Dr. Shalaby's surprising findings, reveal some of the hidden forces maybe at play within these national systems.
Yeah, the stuff under the surface.
And ultimately uncover a potentially radical cure that might just redefine what it means for a society. And maybe for you, listening, to be truly well-informed, resilient, and ready for whatever's next. Let's jump in.
Okay.
So Dr. Shalaby's journey, it starts kind of unexpectedly in Tampere, Finland. He moved there for cardiac research.
Right.
And he talks about this small but really telling detail that gave him his first glimpse into Finnish culture. Get this. A world-renowned professor of cardiac surgery, personally pouring coffee for everyone.
Just like that. Wow.
Yeah. He said it was this unexpected humility that really caught his attention right away.
And then a really crucial observation he made when he got there was just the sheer number of computers in the hospital. Loads of them.
Okay, so high-tech environment.
You'd think so. But these machines, perfectly capable of handling massive amounts of patient data, were mainly being used for archiving and statistical purposes.
Not for like predictive analysis or anything cutting edge?
Yeah, not really. And this led him to coin the term information paradox. Basically, when data is collected but not actively used, or it's not continuously connected back to where it came from, it stops being an asset and actually turns into a burden.
A burden. How so?
Well, it leads to what he called emotional and cognitive burnout for the people managing it. Just drowning in data they can't really use effectively. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In your own work, how much data are you just collecting that's, sitting there?
That's a really good question. So you can imagine the drive he arrives with, right? He had this ambitious vision, an automated myocardial protection guideline system.
Yeah, that sounds complex.
It was basically a machine learning program. The idea was to link patient data globally to figure out the best heart protection protocols.
Globally? Wow.
And he even got support from Sir Magdi Yacoub, a world-renowned transplant surgeon. It sounded like this dream was really about to happen.
Yeah, but this point really highlights a common challenge innovators face,
Yeah.
His initial dream, it got cut short. Abruptly.
Oh, what happened?
A new department head came in and basically dismissed him, asking, "Who are you to start a project of this size?"
Ouch. That must have stung.
Definitely. But Shalaby says this wasn't really an end. It was a profound turning point.
Okay.
That moment sparked a new, even bigger ambition in him to save the heart of Finnish welfare.
Save the heart of Finnish welfare. So broadening out from just the medical project.
Exactly. So in 2008, with the global financial crisis happening and this vision of the world as one information body, he set up his own company, Human Information Technology Lab Ltd.
Human Information Technology Lab.
Yeah, and his motto was social and business, really aiming to balance economic and social life.
And this is where his observations take this really intriguing turn, isn't it? His core concept. Countries, like people, have distinct personalities shaped by history.
He uses this fairy tale analogy, which is quite powerful. He pictures welfare as a family.
Yeah.
The parents are social and economic life, and the children are the Finns themselves, and the whole family is struggling to adapt to change.
That's a striking image. It suggests there's a deeper, almost psychological layer to these national challenges.
That's precisely it. And that's where he introduces two key components of what he sees as the Finnish collective character, sisu and inflated individualism.
Sisu, I've heard that term. It means grit or resilience, right?
Kind of. He defines it as a strong, resistant spirit, yeah, but characterized by long-term adaptive strategies, saving energy, pacifism.
Okay, and its twin. Inflated individualism.
Yeah, that fosters a focus on the self, emotional distance, and a real reluctance to ask others for help.
So Sisu and this individualism, how did they connect to innovation?
Well, Shalaby argues this specific national personality led Finland to a strategy of store research, quote, don't innovate.
Store research, quote, don't
Yeah.
innovate.
Right. It worked well in the industrial age, apparently. But this approach, plus this inherent caution and timidity about failure, made real innovation a frightening process for Finns.
Frightening.
Yeah. He says the common question whenever a new idea came up was, who has tried this before?
Ah, the who did this first question. That can kill new ideas anywhere.
Exactly. It's a huge barrier.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, what are those who has tried this before? Questions that might be quietly stopping progress in your workplace or even in your own projects.
That's a really good point. Now let's jump forward to 2011, the shock of Nokia's decline. That was huge news globally.
Huge. And Shalby saw it as more than just a company failing. He called it a microcosm of Finland's wider economic struggles.
Microcosm. So Nokia's problems reflected the country's problems.
That was his view. He pictured the whole country like a body needing surgery because of slow economic circulation and social rigidity.
So Nokia's downfall wasn't just, bad phone designs or market shifts.
Not entirely, according to Shalby. He sees it as a national parable, really. It highlights how big corporate failures might actually reflect this deeper systemic cultural rigidity within the whole society.
Cultural rigidity.
Yeah, Nokia's path mirrored this national challenge in adapting quickly to market changes. It pointed to a kind of cultural inertia, stifling proactive innovation everywhere.
Which brings us to this powerful, almost mysterious force Shelby talks about, siki.
Siki.
It's an Egyptian slang term, right? Meaning something like strong, mysterious, unpredictable powers.
Exactly. And in Finland, he applies it to these powerful anonymous administrators, particularly within the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment.
Anonymous administrators. The faceless bureaucrat idea.
Kind of, but with real teeth. Shalby found their influence is, well, insidious. They gain power by holding on to details and just not implementing decisions.
So they maintain the status quo.
Precisely. They maintain the status quo. And get this, they stay unaccountable for failures. They even get promoted when governments fall.
Promoted. That creates a massive conflict of interest, surely.
A profound conflict of interest with the very reforms they're supposed to be implementing. Yeah.
Did he have direct encounters with these Sikis?
Oh, yes. He talks about proposing his innovative Novogini platform for skill matching. A great idea, potentially.
Right.
But the Sequas, he says they have this blind spot for deep problem analysis. They just insisted on a superficial matching technology.
Just matching, not addressing the root causes.
Apparently. And he remembers this chilling statement from one Sequa. Now we will take you seriously.
That sounds ominous.
He quickly realized it was a warning sign. Yeah, not encouragement. It led to 2 years of futile delays, impossible demands, like asking his lab to develop EU-wide feasibility studies, just roadblock after roadblock.
Wow. That sounds like bureaucratic quicksand. Truly draining.
Absolutely. And what's maybe even more alarming is the legal side he uncovered.
The legal side.
Yes. Yeah. The Market Court in 2017 exposed this, frankly, astonishing legal loophole. There's no legal requirement in Finland for government tender evaluators to have any relevant qualifications for the solutions they're assessing.
Wait, seriously? The people judging tech tenders don't need tech qualifications.
Apparently not, legally speaking. That decision just underscores this deeply entrenched systemic rigidity where, as Shalaby puts it, the economy sleeps with the enemy.
The economy sleeps with the enemy. That's a stark phrase.
It is. And it highlights a critical blind spot in governance, doesn't it? How can innovation possibly flourish if the gatekeepers lack the expertise to even evaluate it? It's a question worth asking about any system, really, not just Finland's.
Definitely. So while Finland seemed kind of stuck in this situation, Shalaby looked elsewhere, right? Towards Denmark.
Yes, he contrasted Finland with Denmark's flexicurity model.
Flexicurity, what's that?
It's described as a golden triangle. Flexible labor laws, quite high unemployment benefits, and really active labor market policies, pushing retraining and support.
And did it work for Denmark?
Well, their success is notable. Unemployment reached just 3%. And Shalaby attributes this to Denmark's culture of open dialogue, their focus on innovation education starting back in 2012, and a real emphasis on speed and skill renewal, speed in getting ideas moving.
So a very different picture compared to Finland.
A stark contrast. Shalaby calls Finland's situation stuck is the Finnish game.
Stuck is the Finnish game.
Yeah, characterized by what he terms saturated solidity. Things like a narrow business portfolio, that cultural rigidity we talked about, a lack of cooperation in the labor market, and, of course, the cease holding things back.
Any examples of this stock
A
game?
prime one is the Time Markinatory digital job placement system, a 30 million euro project.
Okay. Success.
Not really. It was largely seen as a failure. It got so bad the government ended up having to manually hire 1,200 career guidance experts because the technology wasn't doing the job.
Manually hire 1,200 people instead of using the multi-million euro system.
Wow, exactly. And looking bigger picture, Finland faces this grim welfare growth paradox.
Welfare growth paradox. Explain that.
It means, despite potential GDP increases, the country is seeing an accelerated, persistent decline in other vital areas, like a 28% drop in the birth rate in just 9 years.
28%. That's massive.
It is. And at the same time, national debt has doubled since 2008. Shalaby warns this points towards potentially an irreversible stage. He even draws parallels to Japan's long-term struggles.
Irreversible. That really makes you question if GDP is the right measure for a country's health, doesn't it?
That's a powerful point Shalaby makes. He directly challenges that conventional wisdom. GDP alone, he argues, isn't just incomplete. It can be actively misleading.
Misleading how?
By contributing directly to this welfare growth paradox, where the pursuit of economic growth actually inadvertently leads to social fragility. It flips the usual assumption on its head.
It really does.
And it forces us to ask, what's the hidden cost of our digital age? Shalaby has this stark warning. He says the accelerating digital economy can act like a carcinogen of welfare.
A carcinogen. That's strong language.
It is. He argues it transforms citizens into products, consuming our time and attention through screen addiction.
We all feel that, don't we?
Absolutely. And it leads to social withdrawal, even psychological aging, he says, in young people. This effect is particularly severe in Finland, apparently, due to high information consumption levels combined with those introverted tendencies.
And current rules, like GDPR, aren't enough.
He deems them totally inadequate, likens them to shooting a plane with a stone. It just underscores the urgent need for some kind of counter-technology to protect our well-being individually and societally. How much of your time, your attention is being consumed. It's a pattern unfolding everywhere.
A sobering thought. So this leads us towards Dr. Shalaby's potential cure, his vision for a way forward.
Right, he presents his balanced growth theory.
Balanced growth.
The aim is to find equilibrium between a society's social and economic forces, not just chasing economic growth alone.
Moving beyond GDP again.
Exactly. And his theory calls for a totally new generation of digital network. He calls it growth media. And the example he gives is the Maestro network.
Maestro network. What does that do?
Well, the revolutionary idea here is the citizen transaction.
Citizen transaction.
Individuals would actively, consciously sell their controlled data and their participation in innovation processes to companies in return for actual financial compensation.
So we get paid for our data and engagement.
That's the core idea. His model envisions, quite radically, zero unemployment and a steady basic income from birth for every single citizen.
From birth? How would that even work for a newborn?
Through automated ads using parental data initially, the system aims to generate income streams right away. Plus, the Maestro network also promises to cut public service costs, deliver high-quality personalized services.
Sounds like a huge infrastructure project.
Oh, it is. He sees it operating as a scalable platform for smart cities, smart nations, even a truly single digital market for entities like the EU. It's a complete reimagining of how economy and society could interact.
That sounds incredibly ambitious, almost utopian, maybe. But Shalaby clarifies, doesn't he, that the real cure for Finland isn't just this tech fix.
Correct. He says the true cure is R for resilience.
Resilience.
And that means resilience across the board. Social, economic, cultural, political, even cognitive resilience.
Okay, but what's the obstacle to that resilience in Finland?
Well, here's the bittersweet truth, as Shalaby puts it. Finland's biggest hurdle is its fundamental attitude towards change and this collective blind spot when it comes to embracing genuinely new vision.
Oh, blind spot.
Yeah. And he points to the pervasive Finnish code of conduct, this culture of passively not exposing others, of internalizing difficulties instead of voicing them.
Keeping quiet, not rocking the boat.
Exactly. But he says this consumes vast amounts of energy. It leads to widespread social anxiety, withdrawal, overthinking.
So the core solution isn't just Maestro Network, it's
It's honesty. Plain and simple. Admitting what's hidden. openly sharing emotions and thoughts.
That sounds simple, but culturally that could be huge.
Immense. And it requires the sequis, those anonymous figures, to step out of the shadows, to become accountable participants in the political and societal landscape, embodying transparency and shared responsibility.
So change has to start with them becoming visible and accountable.
Partly. But Shelby really emphasizes that real change has to begin not just in external systems, but within each individual. Transforming your own perspective, your own expectations. It makes you think, doesn't it? Are there areas in your life where you might be sticking to some unspoken code of conduct that's actually draining your energy?
That's a powerful challenge.
Hmm.
It suggests the deepest issues aren't just out there in the system, but maybe in here within us.
Precisely. And Shalaby's experiences back this up. He looked at other welfare countries, Canada, New Zealand, others across Europe.
Did he find similar patterns?
Consistently, he saw the same Sika pattern, the same kinds of systemic rigidities playing out.
Yeah.
It demonstrates that these aren't uniquely Finnish problems. They represent a universal challenge for modern societies.
But the problem isn't just them, the bureaucrats, or the system.
It can also be you, the individual psychology, our collective expectations. And globally, we're seeing this alarming trend of aging in youth because of digitalization. People withdrawing, becoming less engaged.
Aging in youth. That's a chilling phrase.
It is. And it's an acute concern that many governments, including the EU, are frankly still struggling to address with concrete action plans. It's like a silent crisis unfolding.
Wow. So after this deep dive, I have to ask you, listening, did those insights resonate? Did you smell the truth, as Shalaby might say? Was it a breath of fresh air, or maybe a bit heavy? Difficult truth.
Shalaby suggests confronting these uncomfortable truths can feel like a painful workout, but like any good workout, it's necessary for real growth and freedom.
Right.
And maybe this leaves you with a profound thought from his work. You are breathing the truth, but not living it yet.
Breathing it, but not living it.
Yeah. The idea is that the path to genuine well-being, to societal resilience, isn't just found in external reforms or fancy tech fixes. It requires a profound shift in our personal perspective, a willingness to embrace honesty and change, starting right from within.
So the invitation is to continue your own deep dive, understanding perhaps that the pleasure of the truth, as Shalaby puts it, is totally different from the lies, and that this journey, like life itself, is definitely continuous.